Hey everybody, welcome back to Alchemy with Xerophayze. I'm your host, Eric, and got some fun stuff to go over with you. Where this is going to be the first video in a series of videos going over some of the new features of the new Stable Diffusion Prompt Generator that I have been working on. As many of you know, the ones of you who have this prompt generator, who have bought it, love using it. It gives you a lot of ability in creating many prompts, being able to inspire yourself through asking it to just generate random prompts. And I think even I'm still exploring its capabilities. A lot of that stems from ChatGPT. And OpenAI has been updating ChatGPT, making it more reliable. Especially the 3.5 model. I've been very impressed with what I've been able to do with this prompt generator in the 3.5 model. In fact, that's primarily where I use it now. Mainly because the 4.0 model, not that it doesn't work, it works great. Better than the 3.5 ChatGPT model, but obviously you only get 25 I guess they call them messages or whatever per every 3 hours. You're kind of limited. It's a little slow. And if I'm generating, 20 prompts, I don't want to sit there and wait. I'm impulsive. If I have an idea and I want to explore it, I'm going to just dive in. So that's why I'm going to be doing most of my demoing in the 3.5 GPT model, the free version, which most of you use. And I totally get it. That's why I've designed this prompt generator around that. Now, I think a lot of you have concerns over why am I using this? There's lots of other free prompt generators or cheaper prompt generators out there. And I've looked at them. I've looked at the results. And as far as I can tell, and I probably haven't seen all of them, but nobody is achieving the results that I have. And I'm going to go through and show off some of the functions, the newer functions of this prompt generator. And in this video, we're going to be going over a couple of the simpler ones, the blending aspect, and I've reintroduced negative prompts. So now here's the thing: it doesn't automatically generate a negative prompt for you. You have to ask it. So that way you're not getting overwhelmed with a negative prompt every time you generate something. Okay, let's dive into this a little bit here. For sake of time and to keep people from going crazy with me trying to type stuff out, I've created some prompts here already to just kind of show this off. So we're going to come in here, paste this in here. So a beautiful landscape painting, if I can spell right, of an English countryside with a storm in the distant horizon. Include a negative prompt. Okay, should go through. It'll create the standard positive prompt, a nice succinct prompt, just giving a good description or basic description of that, emphasizing some things, and maybe giving a style. And then it gives you a good standard negative prompt. I know a lot of you have issue with emphasis on a lot of the words. I find it works great. If you want to go in, if you buy the prompt, you can go in and customize this however you want. Not a big deal. I like it this way. Seems to work. Okay, so obviously we got our negative prompt. We can just copy and paste that into there. And for those of you who want to use it, for me, I actually have my negative prompts set up as a style. I have my prime negative, portraits, cityscapes, and each one of these are very, very similar. But I've used AI, I've used ChatGPT to actually analyze many different negative prompts and really find the patterns in them and to create these custom ones that address certain minor issues. Now, a lot of what has been learned lately about negative prompts is just putting in opposite words of what's in the positive prompt. Anyway, be what it is, that's how it's set up. So let's go ahead and ask it to create a custom negative prompt. So this gives you some mixed results, but we'll see what it does here. Gives our standard positive prompt, a little more detail in this one, and custom negative prompt. Poorly rendered, botched perspective, muddy colors, inaccurate proportions. So it does actually create some custom adjectives and phrases to try to take away from what would make it a good prompt. So let's take this, let's go render this out. We're going to put in this, and we're not going to put in anything in the style. I want to see what this looks like without a negative prompt. Okay, I want this to be landscape, and we're just going to do one render. We're using Dreamlight Photoreal as the model. We're going to disable or put it on automatic on the VAE because we're not using a model that requires it. And that's it. We're going to just leave everything else the same, hit generate, and see what it comes up with here. Oh, something's odd. Well, I'm not sure why it's rendering it in 1:1 ratio, even though I specified 960 on the width. That's very odd, but so we're getting something, you know, these models are created to be very good, but you know, these storm clouds are kind of odd, very weird. Let's go grab the negative prompt, throw that in there. Let's just see what it does. This is a custom negative prompt. I guess it is a little wider. It's not. Oh, that's so much better. The clouds are normal. You're getting the some rays in there. The landscape looks better, and yeah, I mean, so obviously you want to include a negative prompt. All right, that's just how it is. Let's jump over to a different model. Let's use where is it? This is the I can't believe it's not a photo model. This is actually a really good one. I love this one too. It's a fairly new one. You can get it on Civet AI. Excuse me. It does a really good job with photorealistic stuff as well. My favorite is the Dreamlike Photoreal 2.0, and the reason why is I found it does fingers really well. A good portion of the time, fingers turn out great. I'm really surprised with it. So, okay, so now we're going to go into another feature that I've built into this generator, and it's using a feature of Stable Diffusion. I call either mixing or blending, and what it is, it's a format where you use square brackets, two words separated by colons, and then a number either between 0.01 all the way up to, I think, just 1.0. So and what that does is it takes those two words and through, I don't know if it's doing it through latent space or whatever, it's blending those two, trying to create kind of an amalgam of those two words. And so I've got some prompts in here. We're going to throw these in here to show these off. So using the keyword blending, now you can use mixing or mix. Those are supposed to work too. What I found is blending seems to be more consistent as I have it set up, and then you just basically specify the two words, and then after that you specify what it is you want to see. Okay, you can add a little more detail. I got some other prompts here, but I'm trying to keep this simple for sake of the video. So let's just throw this out there. Okay, and what it does, obviously it puts this in here because I've hard coded that in. If you want to go in and remove that, that's fine. It's in the prompt gen. You can just take it out. Be careful though, because changing aspects of this master prompt may end up changing your results overall. But then what it does is it puts in the formatted blending feature. Okay, fire and storm, and then what it's doing here, the 0.5 indicates it's going to do an equal blend. And think of this as a percentage of the generation. So as it's generating, it's going through 10 excuse me, 10%, 20, 30, whatever. This represents 50%. So 50% of the way through the render, it's going to start taking into consideration the second word. Okay. Now this is a little weird the way they have this set up. This number, in my mind, is backwards. So if you put in, let me just put it this way: the lower the number, the more emphasis it puts on the second word. And I think maybe that makes sense because what it's doing is because it's a percentage of the render. If you put 0.2, that means it's only rendering whatever is in the first word here for that percentage of the render. So like let's say you say 0.2, it's only going to render this for 20% of the generation before it hits this and starts incorporating that. So I guess never mind. It does make some pretty good sense how they have that set up. And so if we take this, let's copy that and go over to Stable Diffusion here. Let's throw this into, I'm going to, like I said, I want to go back to Dreamlike Photoreal. No, actually, this is more of a artistic render. So I'm going to use Illuminati. Let's get rid of this custom prompt. Throw in the new one. We're going to just use a standard my prime negative. Okay. Still landscape. Yeah, let's just hit that. So about halfway through, we should start to see something a little different with how it's rendering. So it obviously knows the two words fire and storm, so it kind of started rendering this, and then it started giving this a little more of a fire and smoke effect. Now you can come up here and customize this. Let's say we want to do this at 0.3. So 30% of the way through the render, it's going to start focusing on storm. So we get something that's a little more stormy, and you get like what looks more like a sun, sunset in the background. Kind of cool. Now if we go the other direction and go, let's say 0.7, so 70% of the way through, it's going to focus on fire. So it's going to render the scene with fire first, and then it'll start focusing on the storm aspect. So you get a little more of a flame, you get some smoke in the background, and you can change this up and down. Now, everything I read, people don't really like this feature because it doesn't seem to, for them, I guess the effect is not as prominent as they'd like to see. But what I found is that it depends on what you're trying to render. Things that are a little more abstract, smoke, fire, atmospheric effects, lighting effects, things that have kind of a general overall effect on the scene tend to do better. Now, I have come across some other types of things that you can do, like if you're specifying subject matter or subjects like man and woman or animals or something like that, and trying to blend things like that together, you can get some decent results. So I'm going to throw in another one here I did. Let's go back over to the prompt generator and let's throw this in here. We're going to blend woman and man. Okay, and let's see. So let's see what this does. It's blending this half and half, and one of the things I noticed is that I've tried to eliminate this where it refers to the subject matter you're mixing later on in the prompt, and it's doing a pretty good job of minimizing that. I don't think it's going to have too much of an effect here, so let's, ruin the prompt or whatever you want to call it. So let's throw that in there. Let's see what Illuminati can do with this. We may switch over to a different model, but just to kind of see what it does. So it's got woman in the first, and then it's going to start focusing on man, so halfway through. Yeah, so it's not doing much. So what we would have to do here is bring this down to, I don't know, let's go down to 0.2. I just want to see, I want to see a really good effect here. Obviously her arm is kind of messed up, but some models work better with this. Obviously, we're getting mostly the feminine features. So let's try a different model. Let's go to the Dreamlike Photoreal. Let's see if it'll mix it there. And part of it is this here. We're getting this here. So let's try it, and we may end up just removing the word woman out of it and allowing it to mix it from up there. Yeah, let's remove that word woman. So delicate features and graceful presence of. Let's get rid of this right here. And just do that. It does feel kind of masculine, heavy eyebrows, that kind of thing. So let's just see what it does now. Yeah, it's definitely adding some masculine features. More defined chin. So it is definitely mixing it. Yeah, you can end up with some very interesting results. I have used this to mix animals. Let's try this. I have another one set up here, mixing a bear and a dog. Now I have used this one before, got a really cool result. We'll see if it does the same here. I've actually posted those results on my Discord channel. If you haven't joined, go ahead and request that. We'll get you in and you can have a look at everything we're doing there. Okay, so we got a mix of bear-dog hybrid, a fearsome and otherworldly creature lurking in the depths of the forest, towering above the trees. So it did a great job here, mixing the bear's raw power and the dog's loyal ferocity. Okay, so it did a good job minimizing being very specific about dog or bear in the rest of it and just using that there. This should be interesting style of AIart Giger. So let's run that through and see what it does. And again, it's just mixing it 50-50 here. Certain keywords definitely have a heavier effect on the image, and depending on how the AI was trained or the particular model. And so that's where you have to adjust this number. So we got something that looks very bear-like. Not many, it doesn't look like much like a dog. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this. I want to see more dog. So 0.3. So we should hit about 30%, and then it should start. Yeah, there we go. So the ears are more dog-like. It's got more of a dog-like stance. It's looking kind of like a bulldog. Definitely dog-like. Yeah, you could get some fun results with this. So yeah, have fun with that aspect. So this video is just about the negative prompting being reintroduced. You can use it if you want. You can not use it if you want. I made that an option. My first generation prompt gen kind of included it with everything, and then my second one I took it out altogether. And people were asking about that, so I put it back in a way that allows you to use it if you want to or not. Okay. In our next video, I'm going to be going through showing off multi-prompting and the ability to include photography details. This is a fascinating thing. This has allowed me to produce much better lifelike images when you introduce photographic elements, specifying the camera, the lens, even famous photographers. So I've got this set up so that it will include that intuitively based on what you're asking for. So stay tuned for that one. If you haven't bought my prompt, by all means, go get it. When you buy it, request access to the Discord, and we'll get you access to the channel that I have set up. I have a private channel set up that will give you access to all the previous versions and any future versions of the prompt generator. Okay, so you can go back and forth between them and try them out, and they all work with the ChatGPT 3.5. You can use them in the 4.0. It will 4.0 tends to follow logic a little bit better, but with the upgrades they've done to 3.5, that's primarily what I use. It works really good. So yeah, stay tuned, and if you haven't, subscribe, like our channel, like this video, share it with other people. We're building this community up. We just recently reached 1,000 subscribers, which is totally awesome. I've never thought I would get to this point. So we're really enjoying this. Appreciate you guys, and stay tuned for the next video.